Ariel Helwani just gave his take on the growing petition demanding that Jon Jones be stripped of his UFC title. Yeah, the one that's already hit over 115,000 signatures. Ariel brought up a solid point. Jones recently said he already told the UFC what his plans are, so if Jon made it clear he's not fighting Tom Aspinall, why is the UFC still holding up the undisputed title fight? If Jones isn't coming back anytime soon, that delay isn't on him anymore. At this point, it might be the UFC dragging things out. And here's the wild part, Jon Jones is about to go down as the longest reigning heavyweight champion ever. He's just 2 months away from breaking the record. But let's be real, not because he's been defending the belt over and over again, not because he's tearing through top contenders, it's because of inactivity. He won the title, dipped with an injury, defended the belt against Stipe, and now months are flying by with no announcements, no real movement. He could end up with the longest heavyweight reign of all time, potentially surpassing Cain Velasquez very soon. For the fans, it's frustrating because the division needs to move, and Tom Aspinall's sitting there with a belt nobody's letting him unify. At some point, someone's got to pull the trigger. Either Jon fights or let Tom run the show.
What about this? There are people who have started a petition to strip Jon Jones. We're now at 115,135 as of maybe an hour or two ago when we took this screen grab. Jon does also bring up a good point. If Jon told the UFC like 2 months ago, hey, I'm not interested, it's no longer on him.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? So like, you remember one time I sat here and I said the UFC is not to blame? And I said that because they met the number. But now if he tells them, hey, I'm not interested, all right, you could say, well, you're to blame because maybe you told them, hey, if you meet this number, I'm fighting. And then you could say, all right, UFC is now back to blame because he told them 2 months ago, you know, I'm out. Why didn't you give Tom Aspinall a fight? There's this whole thing. Now, the whole thing is messy. There is no black and white sort of breakdown of it all. But the point is, I think the world has spoken. Look at that.
Sean O'Malley's coach Tim Welch is predicting that Suga knocks out Merab Dvalishvili in the 3rd round. According to Welch, UFC 306 wasn't a true reflection of what Sean can do. He blamed the old gloves, saying they caused issues, and also claiming that Sean went into that fight injured. But to his credit, Tim didn't downplay Merab. He straight up admitted that the Georgian is the best bantamweight right now. Sean himself has also opened up since the loss. He admitted he underestimated the champ, thought he'd walk in and just knock him out. Now he knows better. He's coming into the rematch with a new mindset, saying he's feeling great and has a completely different game plan this time. But here's where it gets weird. In a recent interview with Michael Bisping, Merab literally laid out the blueprint for how Sean could actually beat him. He said if Sean wants a chance, he can't stay on the outside like he did last time. He needs to close the distance, fight more aggressively, and make it dirty. He also admitted that Sean's body kicks hurt a lot. He said Sean should keep ripping those to the body because they were causing real damage. What are your predictions for this rematch? Leave your comments below.
Man, I envision a hard fight where Suge's coming out of there dirty, but I envision him finding one of his shots. We got the old gloves backs, and those things are like fucking rocks, those gloves. And I envision him cracking Merab on the lips, hurting him, cracking him again, and then TKOing him.
Wow. Late, middle, early?
Maybe third round. All
right. And then we do it again for a 3rd time.
Yep. Like Sugar's in great shape. He's ready to fight for 25 minutes. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen on that night.
Do you still feel the same about Merab?
In what way?
Well, you said like he's reckless, he leaves his chin, he could get knocked out, things like that, or do you view him in a different way?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely view him in a different way. He from the outside looking in, similar to Sean. If you watch video on him, it's like, God, he's got so many holes. But then when he's in front of you, it's different. His timing on his shots is so good, and he's so explosive, and he penetrates so hard, and he'll run through you. Definitely not underestimating it.
Vuger Oruhov, an Olympic wrestler who trains with UFC champion Jon Jones, recently shared some surprising insights into Jones's behavior over the past few months. According to Oruhov, Jones has been taking breaks more frequently during their training sessions, a stark contrast to his usual intense work ethic. Jones would leave practice for long stretches and then return, only to step out again shortly after. He also mentioned that on multiple occasions, Jones would smoke weed and then fall asleep on the couch during training, something completely out of character for the typically focused athlete. Having seen Jones push his limits in the gym countless times, Oruhov found this change unsettling. He noted that Jones had always been known for his discipline and determination, excluding his younger days, of course. But recently, his focus seemed to waver. This noticeable change made Oruhov wonder if something was bothering the champion. Although he respects Jones's privacy and acknowledges that everyone deals with personal challenges, Oruhov couldn't ignore the departure from Jones's usual disciplined routine. While he admitted that it might just be a temporary phase, Oruhov expressed genuine concern about how these behavioral changes could affect Jones's performance and concentration moving forward. With Jones potentially gearing up for a high-stakes fight against Tom Aspinall, these behavioral changes could raise concerns about his preparation and mental focus. Aspinall is known for his speed and agility, posing a serious threat in the octagon. Any lapse in Jones's discipline or focus could prove costly against such a formidable opponent. While Oruhov admitted that it might just be a temporary phase, he expressed genuine concern about how these changes might impact Jones's performance and concentration moving forward, especially with such a crucial fight on the horizon. Rob Whittaker isn't holding back. He agrees with most MMA fans when it comes to the rumored Alexander Volkanovski versus Yair Rodriguez rematch. There is zero interest in this rematch whatsoever. Sure, you could argue that when Volk dismantled him, he was still in his prime. Since then, Volk suffered 2 brutal losses, and maybe, just maybe, Yair's chances have slightly gone up. But even with that narrative, the demand just isn't there. The first fight was so one-sided that fans feel like they've already seen everything they needed to. Even El Pantera's dominant performance over Patricio Pitbull didn't really shift the public opinion. The fight that has people talking is him versus Diego Lopez. That one's got heat. These two clashed hard at the UFC 314 press conference, exchanging words and stoking the fire. Since both fighters have spent most of their lives in Mexico, this potential matchup at UFC Noche would shape up to be a blockbuster. Plus, with UFC Noche taking place in Mexico, it only makes sense for this fight to happen there. The storylines, the emotion, the stakes, that's the real fight fans are asking for.
Mate, no one wants to see this fight. No one.
Yes!
no one was sitting at home thinking, hey, you know what fight I want to run back? Volk and Yair. Okay? Not yet anyway, because Volk did some good, honest work in that first fight, okay? And I thought Yair had a lot to work on from that fight. I think a lot of it was mental, but that's how I walked away from that fight. I thought that fight was very one-sided, and I thought he had things to work on. And by no means is this to be offensive, okay? Because I know someone's got to just clip this and send it to him, and then I'm going to have another enemy. But it's just, this is how I've just seen things, okay? Through my lenses, which could be wrong or skewed or half blind. It doesn't matter. Now, there was a storyline that whole fight week with him and Diego, okay? I wanted that fight to happen.
That's it from MMA Psycho. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for daily MMA news.